Welcome to Our Inner Wisdom. I'm your host, Charlie Lundholm. We are in some intense times right now, and we could all use help finding some balance and clarity. To help with that, I'll be sharing channeled messages, interviews, and discussions on a variety of topics designed to help you feel more grounded, calm, and connected to your source. I thank you so much for being here today. Now let's go tap into our inner wisdom. Hello and welcome. Today I want to share a personal story with you, hoping that it may be able to help someone else who may find themselves in a similar situation. I recently went in and had my mammogram done, and I got that letter back saying, we think that there's something there. And so we want you to come back in and get another mammo and get an ultrasound. And I had never had a letter like this before, and my mom had had breast cancer. So needless to say, getting that letter scared the shit out of me. And I burst into tears, and I immediately went, into fear, and that made sense. But it was amazing to me how quickly and how far off my mind went into the what ifs, the oh my goodness, oh my God, what's going to happen? What could happen? This or that. And my first inclination was to keep it to myself, to not share it, which kind of surprised me because when I've heard of friends and loved ones and clients who have gotten a diagnosis or having a tough time, I'm always kind of inviting them to talk about it, to share, to get support from those who love them. And yet here I was getting ready to just shut down and keep it to myself until I knew something, which makes sense as well. But in the meantime, it's a really scary place, not knowing. Luckily for me, my sweet man always tells me anytime something's wrong, he can just read it on my face. So as much as I was going to keep it to myself, he took one look at me and said, "What's up?" And again, burst into tears, told him what was going on. He was very sweet, very supportive, very loving. Again, I wasn't going to share it with anybody else. And I gave myself time. I didn't just rush in right away and get another test. I wanted to give myself a couple of weeks to really process the information, to really look to see if energetically there was something I could shift, if there was something there, try to get, the lesson around the situation, because obviously there was a lesson in there. I was talking with a friend of mine who may be listening. So if you are, Lisa, hello. And thank you. And we were talking, and I shared this with her because I was still kind of flipping out about it. And her response was so perfect. She just said, "Oh yeah, I get those letters every time." And my anxiety level plummeted just by being able to hear someone else's experience. And that, hey, this didn't mean necessarily bad news, that it could just be, we just need to take another look. I was so grateful to her for that. As women, we think we have to be superwoman and we have to be okay. Someone asks us, "How are you?" "I'm fine. I'm good." That we got to be tough. We have to be strong. And sometimes that's not the place to be when you have something happen that scares the shit out of you. And I shared my letter with 2 more friends, and guess what they said? "Oh yeah, I get that all the time. Every time I have a mammogram, I have to go back." So suddenly now, my big scare the shit out of me letter was becoming something that was more mainstream. And that was very helpful. And it allowed me to kind of back down out of the fear mode and get more into, okay, what am I going to do with this information? What am I going to do looking forward. And so I did a lot of work on myself. I did a lot of energy work, really felt like there wasn't anything, but, I wanted to make sure. Wanted to walk my talk too, because this is what I do. I help people with physical things with their body. So I wanted to look at the emotions, and there were some really beautiful messages, about getting things off my chest, and which, was perfect, right? Here I was going to walk around with this fear all bottled up, and to live my purpose. Those were the two big messages that came out of it. So I went back in, I had the test done, and the woman who was doing the ultrasound said that she does 7 to 10 of these callbacks every week. Every week. I started doing the math in my head because I was nervous. I mean, that's what you do, right? You start doing math in your head when you're nervous. And that was like over 1,900 women every year going back in for these callbacks. We're not in a big town, so this isn't like a major metropolitan area. And I wondered what percentage of those are actually where something shows up. But I didn't ask. I kind of wish I did. And when I was doing my work, I held my vision of what I wanted to hear. And that was the exact words of, "There's nothing there." That's what I just kept telling myself. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. So, you get done. They go sit in the waiting room. You're sitting there with your lovely gown on. And the very sweet woman came back in and she says, "There's nothing there." I burst into tears again. She was so kind. She just looked at me, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes." And, so definitely very, very relieved, very grateful. And it was such an eye-opener of how fear is so good at pulling us away from our center, and what that energy does to us, does to our bodies, does to our psyche, does to our emotions and our well-being. And I know right now, well, it's been going on for a few years now, but there's a lot of fear energy that is floating around us. Everything from illness, COVID, what's going on globally, what's going on politically, what's going on financially. There are a lot of people living in fear because a lot of people are living from a place of survival mode. And that's not a pleasant place to be. And this fear is so good at shutting us down, just slamming us down, shutting down our flow. So it's hard to have access to our guidance, to our source energy. And in that state is where we are supported, where our physical body is getting energetically what it needs to heal, what it needs to stay balanced. And so what were the takeaways that I was thinking about that might be helpful to someone else? And one is to talk about it, whatever it is, whether it's a mammogram result or some other kind of experience that's going on in your life, or maybe just emotions that you're having, or maybe you're feeling just really fearful. Maybe you're depressed, but you're afraid to talk about it. There's a lot of taboo subjects in our culture. And so by bottling things up doesn't help us. So finding someone to talk to let it out. And if you're not comfortable with that, then writing about it, getting it out in a journal, writing in pencil and burning it. That's a wonderful process. It's great at really helping to shift things and release things and I have a write-up about it as a blog on my website. So you can go to ourinnerwisdom.com, go under blogs, and look at the writing and burning practice. I've used that for decades in my healing practice. And I gotta say, for something so simple, it's really powerful. So talking about it, writing about it, moving your body, turning on music that makes you move. Maybe you can let anger out or you can let sadness out. Just not allowing things to get stuck within your body, especially around the heart and around the abdomen. Really good places that fear likes to hang out. So move your hips around, dance it out, stomp it out, scream into a pillow, scream when you're in your car. Something that allows you to have an outlet. If you're a therapy kind of person, then by all means, talk to a therapist, but don't keep things bottled up because it's not beneficial. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your energy. Another thing that was helpful was to go into a state of gratitude, and we hear that a lot. Oh, gratitude shifts a bad mood, and it does. Because I think what it does is it kind of puts the brakes on fear. It says, hey, fear, you get to go. I'm going to go kick you off to the curb right now because I'm shifting my focus. And I'm going into, wow, look at all my blessings. It's hard to have fear energy intermingling with gratitude because gratitude is stronger. It's more powerful. So having that practice of what are you grateful for? If you're dealing with a physical illness, what are you grateful for with your body? Your body is trying to heal and do everything that it does every second of every day so that you can have your precious life. So loving it, even if it is going through a tough time. And I know that's very easy for me to say, but I have heard from numerous clients and friends that it does make a difference, that it is helpful, that they do feel a difference in their body. And our bodies like acknowledgement. They like to be loved up. They like to be told how much they're appreciated. I know it sounds weird, but when I'm working with somebody who has a physical ailment and we go and we start dialoguing with their body, I usually don't hear things like, oh, I want more vitamin B. You can hear that, but usually it's, I want acknowledgement. I want love. I want some rest. Rest is another one that's pretty common. It wants some compassion, it wants some kindness, and it wants some love. So very powerful. And a lot of things can shift in the body because that energy of acknowledgement softens things and allows the body to relax and to receive what it needs. Doing meditation is also something that I found to be really good because it allowed me to kick the fear to the curb. Allowing yourself to find another energy that's going to be infusing you instead of fear. So going into more of a meditative, a connective, a spiritual space, whatever that looks like to you. For me, it was meditation, energy work on my body, because that's what I'm familiar with. And so that was an easy go-to for me. But finding what supports you and supports your well-being and supports your body. It's all important things when we are suddenly have something that throws us into fear. And I think the other thing was to realize that there are other potential outcomes, that there isn't just one, that one that, your mind may be going to instantly. But there are thousands of different ways that things can go. And that kind of thinking is more expansive. And suddenly we're allowing a potential different outcome, something different. This is one you can start playing with because it's very easy for the mind to come in and say, yeah, but, right? Yeah, but that couldn't happen. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So you can kind of catch yourself if that's how you're responding to the, you know what, this could actually turn out this way. It doesn't automatically have to be the worst case scenario, even though that's where we like to go. But we get to catch ourselves right then and there and say, wait a minute, nope, that's not the road that I am choosing to go down. And then you start shifting the energy around the whole situation, how you're feeling, what you're receiving, what you're asking for, what your desires are, what you are starting to actively create as your outcome. Be an active part and an active participant in how you want things to go, how you want things to be, and kind of pulling back from that victim energy and instead being in that place of choosing how you want things to be. How do you want things to go? How do you want your body to be? Start putting that out into the universe, out into that web of interconnectedness, out into the energy fields that are around your body. I don't know if you can feel the difference there, but there's a difference between the I'm choosing a certain outcome and, oh, well, I guess this is how it's going to be. And of course, checking in and seeing what the messages are around whatever it is that's going on. Are there lessons for you? Are there takeaways? Because there usually are, even if it's something very tiny or something totally life-changing. But maybe getting those messages, getting those lessons before anything bigger has to happen to get your attention. So staying in a place of gratitude, openness, in that place of potential, working with the energy from the field of potentiality. There isn't just one outcome. And then any creative outlet that helps you get some angst out or get your energy out or just gets you out of your head for an hour can be very beneficial, whether that's art or cooking or gardening, singing, dancing, whatever it is for you. It could be writing, but be creative. It's a wonderful outlet and it helps your energy in your body to continue to flow. And flow is important. Flow helps keep fear kicked off to the curb. It also helps your body to heal if that's what it needs to do. And the last thing is to be very loving and kind and gentle with yourself and paying attention to any of those thoughts, feelings, patterns, beliefs that things have to go a certain way because we are all powerful creators. So instead of allowing fear to just take over and give us a face plant into the ground, we get to allow ourselves that little fear time and then we get to choose, hey, wait a minute. This is not benefiting me at all. So I'm going to pull the tools out of my toolbox that are going to help me to be in the best energetic flow that I can be in while I'm dealing with whatever it is that I'm dealing with. Knowing that you are connected to your source, you're protected and you're grounded. That's another really great thing to do. Take your shoes off and go stand on the ground. It's called earthing or grounding. But there's a wonderful book on the whole subject called Earthing, and there's a website, earthing.com, which you can get more information about the science behind sticking your feet on the ground. But that's a great way to just let go of stuff, to allow the nurturing energy from the earth to fill you up, to hold you, to help your physical body, So add grounding in as well. So I hope that some of these or all of these techniques might help you if you find yourself in a situation that is bringing fear up. Probably have to do these every time I listen to the news. Good grief. But let's choose love. Let's choose to stay in a place of loving kindness with ourselves, especially with our bodies and with all of those around us and with the earth. Thank you for letting me share my personal story with you. And if you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to be in touch. And I look forward to speaking with you next time. Thank you for listening. For more inspiration or to find out more about my work and upcoming classes, please visit ourinnerwisdom.com. And for beautiful crystals and minerals, please visit our sister site at earthgallery.com. Until next time, keep tapping in to your own inner wisdom.